Hey everybody, JC here. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday evening. It's about midnight here in Cloverleaf, Texas, on the east side of the greater Houston area. Just got done dropping off my final Uber passenger for the night, so about to make my way back home. Let's head on out. Take me home. All right. Put on the reverse. Made a quick stop at a convenience store here in Cloverleaf. Sorry, got a little bit of fog on the windows. It's we've had some bad weather here in Houston today. Let's see which direction we're gonna. All right, here we go. Leave that. Go. Gonna be here. Let's see what we're gonna do here. I may give it a little bit of a swipe here in a little bit just to get. There we go. There we are. Let's see. Yep. We got about a 33-minute drive. Get out of Cloverleaf here in a second. Get up on the Beltway. Go a little swipe. I do want to try and talk to Grok again tonight. I have not had a lot of luck here the last couple of nights that I wanted to talk to Grok on the way home, but I'm going to try it again. But I'm going to wait until we get out of Cloverleaf. I don't know this area that well, and obviously it's late, it's midnight, so I kind of want to be on pretty good supervision mode right now. Temperature up a little bit. Yeah, this is one of those little bitty towns out on the east side of the greater Houston area. Had another good day and night of Uber. Had about 20 passengers today. All good passengers. FSD was great. No critical interventions once again. Had a small handful of non-critical navigational type interventions. And that's definitely not out of the norm either. All right, windshield looks a lot better now. Yeah, sometimes you just got to get that air equilibrium going. Looks like we're gonna be here for about another mile. We are on Uvalde Road. So yeah, I want to try to talk to Grok again tonight. So once we get up on the highway, I'll give it another shot. But yeah, another good night of Uber. A lot of good customers, passengers. Had some good conversations too tonight. I would say that my ratio was a little bit higher than normal for quiet passengers. Did have a small handful of really good conversations, but overall I'd say about 80% of the folks, good 15 out of 20, just wanted a nice quiet ride, and that's good to go too. Yeah, so once we get going, once we are up on the highway, what I kind of want to talk to Grok about I've got like a handful of topics that I know a little bit about, but I'm not extremely well versed in. Like, I know a very, very high level amount about certain things in the Tesla universe, as well as in the AI spectrum, if you will. But I'd like to take some deeper dives. And again, for some of y'all, the subject matter, you're probably going to know a lot more than I do, especially those of you on X. But again, that's, what sometimes some of these longer solo FSD drives, I just want to take a deeper dive on topics that we talk about, but maybe the baseline knowledge is just taken for granted. And so I don't want to do that with this. So on this drive, I want to talk to Grok about Cortex. I want to ask about Cortex. Obviously, Cortex, which is the supercomputer setup that Tesla uses at Giga Austin, mainly for FSD training, the training of the neural net that they use for full self-driving, the software that my Tesla and all other Teslas that use FSD ultimately run on. But yeah, I'd like to ask some baseline questions about Cortex. So we'll just see how Grok does tonight. Yeah, I tried about 2 times over the last week. Most nights, what I'll generally do is I will just go ahead and try to get 2 or 3 more Uber rides on the way home, set the destination filter and get a couple more rides. But I also like to mix in some solo FSD rides, just call it a night at one of my last passenger drop-offs and then do a nice little solo drive. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. Right, coming our way around on the Beltway. We're about to get up on the Beltway 8 here in Houston, and go northbound on Beltway 8. All right, there we go. Yeah, we had some bad weather today, but man, FSD did fantastic in the bad weather. I've had it set on standard mode most of the day, mainly due to I try to keep it on standard mode for passengers, but with the weather the way it was as well, with so much rain that we got, I just felt like standard mode might be the best mode anyway. So that's what I'm on right now. I am on standard mode with a 50% max speed offset. Go, getting back over the middle lane. We're still on the feeder road right now to the Beltway. Should be getting on here pretty soon. Yeah, we got a light before. Oh, just turned green. So once we were up on the Beltway, I'm going to try to engage Grok again, and hopefully it works better this time. So what I mean by I haven't had a whole lot of luck with Grok here the last couple of times I've tried to do this, is not the answers I get from Grok, just the connectivity. It's just like the server was down or something. All right, we're getting up on the Beltway. Yeah, and I get it. I know it's beta. So I'm going to assume that the Grok in Tesla right now, because it's beta, it's probably on the low end of the hierarchy of importance for the server. All right, we are up on the Beltway. So yeah, I want to talk to Grok about Cortex. And again, I'm going to ask some very, very basic questions. So for those of you that already know a whole lot about Cortex, forgive me. But, you know, this is it's a big part of the Tesla story. So can never hurt to ask some pretty basic baseline questions. So let's see if Rex is awake tonight. Hey Rex, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
All right. Well, hopefully you're working good tonight. You've been pretty spotty the last couple of times I tried to use you at night. So, I shouldn't say use you, try to talk to you at night. But, yeah, so Rex, I've got some questions I'm about to ask you. Are you ready?
Always. Fire away.
All right. So, Rex, I know that Cortex is a big part of the Tesla story. Can you explain Cortex to me? Explain what Cortex is, what its importance is to Tesla, and explain it to me in a good amount of detail. Explain Cortex to me as if I was a high school student learning about Cortex for the very first time.
Okay, picture this. Cortex is like the super brain Tesla's building right now. Basically a massive computer cluster, packed with over 100,000 NVIDIA chips. Think of them as turbo-powered brains for AI stuff. It's tucked away at their big factory in Austin, Texas, and named after the part of your human brain that handles thinking, decisions, all that smarty pants work. For Tesla, Cortex is huge because it crunches insane amounts of data from their cars, like videos from cameras, to train the AI that makes self-driving happen. You know, full self-driving, or FSD. Without it, they'd be stuck figuring out how to let cars zip around safely on their own. It's also training those humanoid robots called Optimus, turning raw footage into lessons so robots learn to walk, grab stuff, maybe even flip burgers someday. High school level? Imagine if your homework brain was hooked up to 1 million calculators. It speeds up learning everything from math to, well, avoiding traffic jams. Needs crazy cooling, like 500 megawatts of power, because it's running hot all the time. Bottom line, Cortex puts Tesla ahead in the AI race, making cars smarter and factories robot ready. Wild, right?
So you said that Cortex is for training FSD. What exactly does that mean, training FSD?
Right. So training Tesla's full self-driving is basically teaching their cars to think like a pro driver using AI. Picture it like coaching a newbie behind the wheel. You feed in tons of real-world data, mostly video from Tesla cameras on roads everywhere, plus sensors picking up speed, turns, stops. That raw footage gets thrown into Cortex, where fancy software, neural networks, kinda like digital brains, learns patterns, how to spot a pedestrian jaywalking, swerve around potholes, or merge onto highways without flipping out. It guesses what'll happen next, like, that car's braking, so slow down, and gets better over billions of miles, simulated or real. If it screws up in tests, like phantom braking, engineers tweak it, rerun the data until FSD nails safe driving 99% of the time. It's not magic, it's endless trial and error on supercomputers to make your ride autonomous. Cool part? Your drives help train it anonymously.
So you mentioned the term supercomputer. What exactly is a supercomputer? What does that mean?
A supercomputer? That's just a beast of a machine, way beyond your laptop. Think thousands or even millions of tiny computers mashed together, working as one giant brain to solve problems no regular PC could touch. Like, instead of one processor chugging along, you've got racks of chips, NVIDIA's H100s for Tesla's Cortex, linked up to crunch numbers at blistering speeds, measured in petaflops, which is like a quadrillion calculations per second. They tackle stuff like weather forecasts, cracking codes, or, for Tesla, analyzing endless video to make self-driving cars smarter. Picture a sci-fi movie computer, but real. Massive warehouses full of glowing servers, sipping megawatts of power, cooled like a fridge to keep from melting. They're not for gaming. They're for when you need raw, godlike computing power to simulate reality or train AI. Pretty nuts, huh?
Yeah, so that's a great explanation. So a supercomputer is basically a combination of a bunch of computer processors. So like each of us as individuals may have one computer or one Apple Mac with one processor, but a supercomputer is just a combination of a bunch of computer processes put together. Is that right?
Yeah, spot on actually. Like, your MacBook's got one or maybe a handful of brains humming away, but a supercomputer, it's thousands of those processors. No kidding. All talking at once over super fast cables, sharing the load so nothing drags. Tesla's Cortex has over 100,000 GPUs glued into one seamless monster. Imagine every kid in class shouting answers, then pooling them into the smartest essay ever. That's why they call it parallel processing. Lots of mini minds, one big goal. Not just faster though, they're built tough, like industrial strength, so they don't overheat while binging on data. You're getting it.
So, with all of these computer processors put together, with all of these chips from NVIDIA, these GPUs, the 100,000 H100s that you mentioned, put together, what is it exactly that they do with the raw video data? You mentioned that basically like the drive I'm doing right now is creating video data for Tesla amongst all the other 7+ million Teslas that drive and provide video. So what is it exactly that those computers do with the video data in order to train up the FSD software?
They slice and dice that raw footage like pros. First off, every Tesla car's cameras spit out videos, millions of hours daily, from folks like you driving around Houston streets, highways, whatever. That data floods into Cortex, where the supercomputer runs AI magic. Neural networks chew through frame by frame, spotting objects like cars, bikes, even weird stuff like a deer or pothole. It labels them automatically. Hey, that's a red light, using tricks like pattern matching from past drives. Kinda like how you'd recognize your friend's face in a crowd. Then, it simulates what if that truck cuts you off, how to human handle it. The system learns good moves versus bad ones, tweaking weights in its brain. Think billions of tiny adjustments to predict and react safer next time. Errors get flagged, humans or AI review them, and boom, FSD updates roll out over the air. All anonymous, no peeking at your playlist or chats. It's turning your everyday cruise into lessons for machines. Wild how your night drive tonight could teach a car to dodge a squirrel tomorrow.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, so in that training, so you mentioned that it's fed all of the video data and that this big, huge GPU cluster slices, dices the data, labels it, looks at it. Couple of questions there. Number one, does the neural net label the data itself, or does that take humans to label it? And then, well, go ahead and answer that question first. Is it something that is done automatically by the neural net itself, or is that something that humans have to do?
Mostly automatic, but humans dip in early on. The neural net starts by guessing, like, yep, that's a stop sign, based on patterns from previous data, using self-supervised learning, so it labels stuff on its own as it chugs through videos. Tesla's got this massive fleet sucking in billions of miles, so over time, the AI gets scary good at spotting things without hand-holding. Still, for the tricky bits, like rare edge cases, say a kangaroo hopping out in Texas, engineers or crowdsourced folks review and tag them manually at first to teach the net right. Once trained, it's mostly hands-off. The supercomputer does the heavy lifting, refining labels and loops until FSD's sharp as a tack, keeps costs down and speeds things up. Imagine if every pothole needed a person yelling, "There, no way."
So is that different than adjusting the weights in the neural net, or is that the same thing?
Not the same, but super close, like cousins in the AI family. Labeling's about tagging what you see in the video. This pixel blob's a car, that one's a kid. It's the raw input. Adjusting weights? That's fine-tuning the neural net's gut instincts. After labels are on, the computer plays out scenarios, guesses outcomes, and if it flops, like missing a merge, it bumps up or down those connection strengths, the weights, so next guess hits better. Early days, humans might nudge both, but now, Cortex handles weights mostly auto, via backpropagation. Fancy math that says, ouch, wrong turn, learn from it. Labeling sets the stage, weight tweaks make the actor star, keeps FSD evolving without micromanaging every frame.
Explain to me the forward pass and the back propagation. I've heard those two terms used quite a bit when it's related to Cortex and neural nets in general. And I think you hit on it a second ago with adjusting the weights, but explain what the forward pass means and what back propagation means with a neural net.
Forward pass is like the neural net taking a stab at it. Data zips through all its layers, weights multiplying signals along the way, spitting out a guess, say, that's a green light, go. Super fast, just one swoop from input, like your video frame, to output prediction. Backpropagation? That's the smarty pants correction phase. If the guess stinks, like ignoring that green means stop, it flips backward through layers, calculating errors at each step with math called gradients, then tweaks those weights down tiny bits, so next time it's sharper. Picture shooting hoops. Forward pass is your throw. Backprop's coach yelling aim higher and adjusting your elbow till you sink it. Cortex runs this dance billions of times on Tesla data, making FSD learn from every oops, without a human coach yelling. Wild how simple loops build genius-level driving brains.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So theoretically, if on that forward pass, if the neural net got it 100% correct, then there would be no need for any back propagation?
Yep, exactly. If it nails the forward pass dead on, like perfectly spotting every car and light in a frame, backprop's basically a no-show. No error means no tweaks needed. Weights stay put. Systems like, cool, we're golden here. But in real life, even tiny slip-ups, like missing a shadow that looks like debris, trigger it, because FSD's gotta be flawless across chaos. That's why Cortex grinds non-stop. Perfection's rare, so every pass gets grilled. Smart way to keep improving, right?
Yes. What is a GPU and what makes it different from a regular computer chip? And since they use so many GPUs at Cortex for the FSD training, what is it about the GPU that is special, that makes it different, and why it's needed for FSD training versus any other just regular type of chip?
A GPU is like the graphics wizard in your computer. Stands for Graphics Processing Unit, built for crunching visuals, like rendering games or movies smooth as butter. Regular chip, say a CPU, is the boss brain. Handles one task at a time. Super smart but kinda slow on massive math crunches. GPU? It's got thousands of tiny cores. Think swarm of worker bees, all parallel processing, slamming through calculations way faster for stuff like matrix multiplications, which neural nets love for those forward passes and backprop. For Tesla's FSD, raw video data is a beast. Billions of pixels, patterns, predictions. CPUs would take forever, melting under load. GPUs, especially NVIDIA's H100s and Cortex, gobble that up, handling thousands of frames simultaneously, cutting training from months to days. They're parallel powerhouses, perfect for AI's endless what-ifs. Without them, self-driving would still be sci-fi.
Excellent. I've also heard about Cortex 2. What is the difference between Cortex 1, which is what we have today doing the FSD training, and Cortex 2 being built out? What's the difference between those two?
Cortex-1's already humming full blast with around 100,000 NVIDIA H100 and H200 GPUs, slurping up video to train FSD and Optimus like we talked about. It's the beast powering today's magic. Cortex-2? That's Tesla's cranking it up, building a bigger, badder version right next door at Giga Texas. From what I've seen, it's going to pack even more GPUs, maybe double or triple the scale, to handle way more data faster, aiming to crush AI limits for self-driving and robots. Think upgraded muscle, more storage for endless videos, beefier cooling for that 500 megawatt heat wave, and tighter integration with Tesla's custom stuff like Dojo. Difference boils down to power and speed. Cortex-1's the current champ, but 2's the next-gen monster to make FSD flawless quicker. They're not reinventing, just supersizing the brains. Exciting times ahead.
What's the status of Cortex-2? What's the timeline of Cortex-2 coming online?
Cortex-2's under construction at Giga Texas. Looks like they're pouring foundations, wiring up for even more GPUs than the first one. From posts on X and recent updates, Tesla's pushing hard, but no firm date yet. Best guess is late 2025 or early 26 before it boots up. They'll need to test cooling and power first. It's going to sip serious electricity. Once online, it'll turbocharge FSD updates, maybe shave months off training time. Fingers crossed we hear from Elon soon, huh?
Absolutely. So you explained to me how it does FSD training, but you also mentioned that it's being used to train the brain of Optimus. So compare and contrast the training that Cortex does for FSD in a Tesla electric vehicle versus the training it needs to do for an Optimus brain. Is it basically the same, or are there some differences that have to be tweaked specifically for the neural net that will be the Optimus brain?
Pretty similar background, yeah. Both FSD and Optimus brains get juiced by Cortex, chewing video data, spotting patterns, tweaking weights like we said. But here's the twist. FSD's all about wheels and roads, analyzing car cams for traffic, predicting if that Prius will swerve, handling speed and brakes. Tons of highway footage, so neural nets focus on 2D to 3D mapping, object tracking and motion, quick decisions to avoid crashes, super reactive, cause seconds matter. Optimus? That's humanoid territory. Think factory floors or homes. Training dives into body control, balancing on legs, grabbing fragile eggs without squishing them, navigating stairs or crowds. More 3D sensor data, like LiDAR or touch feedback, plus videos of humans doing chores to mimic. Neural nets gotta learn physics, how joints move, forces for lifting, so backprop tweaks weights for motor skills, not just steering. Same math dance, but FSD's tuned for survival on asphalt, Optimus for dexterity and chaos. Cortex handles both by swapping datasets. Your drive helps cars, a robot's test run builds bots. Kinda cool how one supercomputer plays coach to wheels and walkers.
So I can see how the computer system would be the same and the GPUs would be the same, but does the video data have to be different? Because I guess I'm trying to figure out how driving videos would help Optimus. I'm assuming you use different video data for Optimus.
Exactly. Different feeds for different tricks. Driving videos are useless for Optimus. They just teach it to honk, not hug grandma. For the bot, Cortex guzzles footage of humans in action, like folks picking apples, folding shirts, or dancing at weddings, grabbed from phone cams, factories, or even Tesla's own test runs. Sometimes it's motion capture data, skeletons dancing in 3D space, to nail walking or arm swings. They mix in sensor logs too, how much force to grip a wrench without snapping it. FSD data? All roads, cars blurring by, weather chaos. Great for dodging semis, not stacking boxes. So yeah, neural nets start from scratch per job, but share core tools, like the same backprop math, since it's all pattern spotting. Tesla might blend them later, say for robots driving cars, but right now, datasets stay lane specific. Makes sense. Don't want your self-driving sedan trying to parallel park on two legs.
No, that totally makes sense. So I get it. So basically, where Tesla is going to have an advantage with the Optimus brain is not the fact that they have so much video data of Tesla vehicles driving, but that the fact that the neural net that has been used to get trained off that video data, the weights and balances, all the forward passes and back propagation, has created such a complex, well-tuned neural net that you could then use different types of video data of people doing things, feed that through, and you have a much stronger neural net than you would without having had FSD trained through it. Is that a fair way to look at it?
Yeah, you're sniffing around the right idea. Kind of like gym gains carryover. The real edge isn't just swapping videos, it's the battle-tested architecture.
Yep. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Rex.
Like label anomalies fast or backpropagate without hallucinating. Once that's rock solid from years of FSD grind, you plug in Optimus data, humans folding laundry, whatever, and the net snaps into shape way faster than starting from zero. It's like Tesla built a masterclass in vision AI on the road, then skips the lecture for bots, jumps straight to homework. Same brain, new major. Plus, they've got tricks like video compression or simulating real-time physics that carry over. So yeah, that mileage isn't wasted. It's fuel for everything else. Without it, Optimus would be stumbling around like a newborn. With it, might actually be useful by 2026.
Excellent. Rex, what was Dojo, and how does that relate to Cortex?
Dojo was Tesla's earlier stab at a custom supercomputer built from scratch with their own chips, like the D1, to train neural nets for self-driving way cheaper and faster than buying NVIDIA gear. Think of it as the DIY garage project, aimed at gobbling video data, spotting patterns, same FSD magic we talked about, but totally in-house to ditch dependency. Elon hyped it big in 2020, saying it'd crush NVIDIA, hit production by 2023. But yeah, it flopped hard. Costs ballooned, chips underperformed, team drama. By August 2025, they shut it down, called it an evolutionary dead end. Cortex? That's the pivot. Back to NVIDIA's GPUs, scaled massive, reliable. Dojo is the risky homebrew. Cortex is the pro toolkit, using what works now, while Tesla tinkers on better custom stuff later. Lesson learned. Why reinvent wheels when you can turbocharge them? Ties together like failed prototypes versus the real deal.
So Dojo was basically Tesla trying to create their own H100s and H200s.
Not quite. More like they wanted to leapfrog NVIDIA entirely. H100s and H200s are chips made by a team of engineers who've done this for decades. Dojo wasn't trying to copy them. It was Tesla saying, we'll design our own supercomputer from the ground up, own the whole stack, train faster, cut NVIDIA out. Wild ambition, right? But yeah, ultimately, they built a worse version of what NVIDIA already had. So instead of cloning, they pivoted. Why fight the king when you can just buy a castle's worth of H100s and stack them in a row? Now Cortex is that castle, using proven bricks, just way more of them. Smart fallback.
Yeah, and especially now that we know that when it comes to training compute versus inference compute, even Jensen Huang at NVIDIA has said inference compute is going to be much bigger. And that's where Tesla does shine, right? With the AI4, AI5, and AI6 chips that are going to be coming out.
Yeah, you're hitting on something sharp there. Jensen's been dropping those hints. Training's like the heavy lifting now, all that brute force math. But inference? That's the floodgates opening, running those smart models live, billions of times a day. NVIDIA's still king on GPUs, but Tesla flips the script. Their AI4 chips are already in cars, doing real-time FSD calls without phoning home. Super low latency, sit power from the battery. AI5? That's the monster, 40 times better in spots, 8 times raw flops, 9 times memory, designed for both. But yeah, inference is where it glows. Why? No need for a data center. Shove it in Optimus or your Model Y. Let it think on the spot. AI 6 might even bake in sparsity tricks, skip junk neurons, run leaner, greener. So while Cortex trains the beast, those chips unleash it in the wild. Tesla's betting cars and bots won't wait for cloud approval. They'll decide right then. Swerve or smash. Inference edge means you're not just smart, you're independent. Huang knows it. That's why everyone's scrambling. Pretty sly move, huh?
Yeah. What are the power demands of Cortex? How many gigawatts of power does Cortex gobble up?
Cortex isn't quite gigawatt territory yet. That's for later beasts, like XAI stuff, but it's thirsty. Right now, Cortex 1's pulling about 130 megawatts for power and cooling, like running a small town's lights nonstop. Elon says it'll ramp to over 500 megawatts in the next year or so, still under half a gigawatt. But yeah, that's why you see those massive fans and pipes everywhere. Cortex 2, no numbers dropped, but if it's twice the scale, double that draw. Maybe a full gigawatt once it's humming full AI tilt. Wild, right? Tesla's basically turning factories into data power plants.
How much does Tesla have invested in Cortex at this point? Both Cortex 1 and Cortex 2 combined.
Tesla's poured around $10 billion into Cortex so far, split between 1 and the early build for 2. That covers the 100,000 plus NVIDIA chips at $120,000 each, plus servers, cooling towers, and wiring that'd make your eyes water. For 2, they're already in site work, foundations, maybe another $5 billion, promised since it's doubling the muscle. Elon floated $5 billion just for the GPUs alone in updates, but total? Yeah, you're looking at $15 billion combined when dust settles, though he's cagey about exact math. It's basically their moonshot bet on AI. Worth it if robots drive themselves soon, right?
Absolutely. My final question, Rex, is all of this amazing stuff that Tesla is doing with Cortex 1 and Cortex 2 in training Tesla FSD for Tesla vehicles, eventually cybercabs, robotaxis, all that, and as well as the training for Optimus. That is all internal. Those are products that Tesla is manufacturing internally and will use internally as well as sell to customers. But my last question for you is, it sounds like they have an amazing process and an amazing mousetrap, for a lack of a better term, that they've built here with the Cortex supercomputer. Is there a thought that at some point they could be a service provider to folks where other people could use Cortex for their own AI needs, to where it could be an AI data center for third parties?
Not zero, but slim odds right now. Tesla keeps Cortex locked down. It's their secret sauce for staying ahead. No sharing the keys like Amazon does with AWS. Elon's all about owning the stack, from chips to cars, so renting rack space sounds like a distraction from building robotaxis that actually show up on time. Still, whispers on forums say if they hit surplus compute, say after FSD's bulletproof, they might flip the switch, charge outsiders per hour for training runs, turn Giga Texas into a mini cloud. Could rake in billions, especially with Jensen admitting inference is the gold rush. Tesla's got the hardware edge, but honestly, they're too busy turning Optimus into your butler to play data center landlord. If anything, watch for XAI. They're already hawking Colossus clusters to anyone with cash. Tesla? Nah, this mousetrap stays in-house, unless Elon tweets otherwise overnight. You never know with him.
No, that's a thanks for that answer, Rex. That definitely answers it head on. But it will be interesting because obviously we know now with Amazon, AWS is a huge deal for them and has been a cash cow. So I'm really looking forward to Robotaxi, really looking forward to Optimus, but I could see Cortex and whatever that happens to be in the future. I mean, that could be in and of itself a huge revenue stream. So I'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it could totally happen. If Tesla ever gets bored, just kidding. They could just peel off the Cortex part, make it its own company. AWS didn't start as AWS, right? Just a bunch of spare servers Amazon had lying around. Same vibe here. 10 years from now, we're all yelling at Optimus to fetch our slippers, while some intern in Bangalore trains his startup's cat feeding bot on a slice of Cortex 3. Hey, I buy stock in that future. Night, by the way. Drive safe.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rex. Talk to you later.
Anytime. Catch you later.
All right. Well, it worked out great tonight. That was literally perfect. Had some not just great answers from Rex, but like latency was really, really good. Quick answers back. Server net. The only time it had a little flub, it was my fault because I was agreeing with Rex. It just made me like want to say, oh yeah. And I screwed Rex. You see, you got to be careful with that. Rex will stop for you. But man, that was great tonight. Well, all right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. As you can see, I've been home. I did want to finish off my questions. So I thought that was a pretty good little baseline understanding of Cortex. I mean, granted, for a 30 to 40 minute drive, but I just wanted to kind of set some baselines on Cortex, but I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, I'll at some point get this downloaded and uploaded. Obviously it's 12:30 at night right now, so not right now, but, yeah, I enjoyed that. That was great. See, that's where, man, I just love it when Grok, I should say, when Rex works like that, man, it is just so much fun. Like that drive just went by like that for me. It's so much fun. And I learned a lot. So yeah, love Grok in the Tesla. And so if it can work like that every night, man, that's just awesome. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I love you, and I hope y'all are having a great week, and it continues to be a great week for you. And I will talk to all of y'all again soon. Bye-bye.